What's up, guys? It's Josh from Blackout Tinting, and behind me is the Mustang Mach E. If you don't know that this thing exists, you're probably thinking I'm lying to you that this is a Mustang, because it is obviously a crossover or an SUV or whatever you want to call it, but that is the case now, so this exists. In addition to being a weirdly shaped Mustang, it's also a weirdly powered Mustang in that it is all electric. Not a hybrid, there is no engine in here at all, similar to a Tesla. So as much as real car people like myself might hate that this is the new thing, we like engines, we like noise, we like spinning tires and drag strips. This electric car thing is coming through, and we better learn to like it, because we're not gonna have a choice very, very soon, I think. So there are a few different variations of the Mach E that exist. We have the basically base model one, I forget what they even call it. It's gonna be a single motor. Then you have the dual motor system, which is what this is. So this is all-wheel drive. It's got a motor in the front and a motor in the back. It's got 346 horsepower. Compared to the Tesla Model Y, it has 384 horsepower. So this one is just shy of the Model Y. Now, they are going to have a GT version that I don't believe is available for purchase yet, but there's an ad on Ford's website today when I was doing some research that shows that you can pre-order that now. So that Mach E GT, that thing is going to be a rocket. I'm pretty excited to go for a ride in that once it comes out. All right, so this is the extended range version of the Mach E. So that means it has an 88 kilowatt per hour usable battery. I don't really know what that means because I'm not super into electrical stuff. Basically, translation to English for people like me is it has a little bit of a bigger usable battery than some of the Teslas on the market. The Tesla Model Y has a 72.5 usable kilowatt per hour battery. So this one theoretically should have a little bit more range. That 88 kilowatt per hour is good for 270 miles according to Ford. That is the range that you will get out of the Mach E Premium at full charge. Speaking of charging, one of the questions that constantly comes up with an electric vehicle is, how fast does it charge? And honestly, that's one of the shortcomings of an EV as opposed to a gas vehicle, especially on a road trip, which you know we love to do. If you take this thing on a road trip, you have to sit somewhere while it charges. In a normal car, you pull up to the gas station, you pump the gas, and a minute or two later, you're back on the road. So that's definitely something right now that I think you sort of need to watch out for and think about heavily before you would buy one. As that infrastructure grows and as the technology advances, I'm sure they're working very hard at getting that time down. But right now, there's a couple different ways you can charge this. So you can plug in a normal 120 volt plug like you'd have at your house, or just a wall charger here, and that's gonna charge you about 30 miles a night. Now, from my experience and from my research with the Tesla cars, when they're here and we're charging them, that's about the way they are too. They charge very slowly on a normal 120 plug. Now, if you bump that up to a 220 or a 240 or whatever it is, that will get you about 80% charge in a night with the Mach E, according to Ford. So 80% is pretty darn good. Most people, if you're using this for daily commuting, unless you're driving a couple hundred miles a day, you're gonna be able to charge this thing up overnight as long as you have that 220 system installed in your house. Should be a pretty simple installation. The Ford charging station claims to get about 32 miles an hour. Now, that's pretty much all the information I could find for charging these. That seems to be a little bit slower than like the superchargers. I don't know if they're gonna have some type of supercharge option that if you're on the road and you need to get another 50%, if you could do that in 15 minutes or something like that. If you guys know any information about that, please let us know. We'd love to hear your opinion and your input on that. So the warranty on this car, it's got your typical Ford warranties, but on the electric components in general, the battery and sort of all the electrical components that make the car move have a 100,000 mile warranty. That's really awesome. It's essentially a drivetrain warranty at that point compared to Tesla, and I'm sorry I keep comparing it to Tesla, but that's sort of the king of the EVs right now, and this is clearly meant to be a competitor with the Model Y. Tesla's offering 120,000 mile warranty, so similar. They're both really good, but the Tesla does have a little bit of an edge there. So we're gonna do a quick walk around the car so you can see all the angles of it. It's got 19-inch wheels, and I don't love those wheels. I don't hate those wheels. They're sort of just there. I don't think they look bad. Notice there's no door handles, so that's kind of cool. It's great for people like us that install paint protection film. We don't have to worry about taking door handles off. You have this button instead, and it pops the door open for you. Super cool feature. I like that a lot. As John pointed out, though, there's nothing to grab on this back door. So when you shut it, there's really no way to shut it without putting your hand on the paint or on this part here, which is going to scratch, I'm sure. So If you're crazy like us about keeping your car perfectly, spotlessly clean, you're gonna end up marking up your paint a little bit just from your fingers. But again, that's sort of if you're like detailer level crazy. In the back of the car, we've got the Mustang badge in the middle, and you have these sort of iconic Mustang style taillights, a large reverse light down on the bottom. Got the black roof, and that top is a big panoramic glass roof. I don't believe that it opens, it's just there to look out, it's pretty cool. On the front of the doors, you'll notice that you do have a pull handle here, so I'm not sure why they did that on the front doors, but not on the back. It's kind of strange, but this way you can pull the door open. This particular model comes equipped with black mirrors, turn signals on the mirrors, of course, which is pretty much standard on everything at this point. And the turn signals themselves on the front of the car are sequential, so we'll show you those at some point. They look really cool. Of course, LED everything in those headlights. No grille or air intakes or anything like that because it's unnecessary in an electric car. So it looks like maybe down here, this could be some type of active aero. It looks to me like these move. So this is probably due to some type of aerodynamic advantage. I don't know when those open. I really didn't find any info on that whatsoever online. So again, if you know anything about that, let us know. And of course, the elephant in the room is the Mustang badge. This is a Mustang Mach E. We've put this thing out on our social media channels on Facebook and on Instagram, and even on YouTube a little bit. And what we found is that a lot of people like the car, myself included, but don't like that it is a Mustang. And I guess the reason for that is, and I kind of agree with them if I'm being honest, for 70 years or however long it's been, the Mustang has been a two-door muscle car. This is a four-door electric. I mean, there's nothing that is similar in that respect. But as you start walking around the car, and we look at cars very closely because we're very close up on them all the time, installing paint protection, ceramic coating, and you name it. There are some similarities that start to emerge between this and the Mustang. The headlight shape, the overall shape is almost exactly the same as a Mustang. The bumper is actually similar. The way that this part between the grille and the headlight exists, that sort of thin strip there, is reminiscent of the Mustang, with the long, narrow hood that sort of fits in between the fenders that wrap up around a little bit, as opposed to hoods that sort of go down over the edge. And the fender shape, and this might seem really odd to somebody that doesn't stare at fenders all day, but we do. The fender shape of this is almost exactly the same as a Mustang. So like from here over, it could be a Mustang. It is a Mustang. It could be a two-door coupe Mustang. So that's kind of neat. The back, of course, those taillights are almost directly out of a Mustang, just changed to fit this. Now, why would Ford do that? That's the question that keeps coming up. Why is this a Mustang? From the research I've done on why Ford decided to do this, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, they want to create a family of cars around the Mustang name. If I had to guess, and this is purely speculation, they probably want to keep the Mustang name going even after internal combustion V8s are gone. So this is sort of a way to introduce that and make sure that the Mustang name lives on for years to come. Number two, honestly, and I think they just wanted to make a splash. They knew that by naming this the Mustang, we're going to do videos and talk about why it's called a Mustang. And in an age where every manufacturer is releasing new electric vehicles and talking about their new electric vehicles, the Mustang name makes it stick out a little bit more. So I think that's probably why they're doing it. Same with the Corvette. Chevrolet is planning on releasing possibly a Corvette SUV that's going to be electric. I think it's the same thing. I don't want to say publicity stunt, but almost like that. The interior looks good. It's got leather everywhere. These are heated seats. I don't believe that they're cold. If they are cold, I haven't found that option on the menu anywhere. It's got a Bang & Olufsen system, or B&O, popular in Audis, and now it's starting to pop up in all sorts of cars. I want to say this might have been in the new Bronco also, so evidently Ford must have some sort of agreement with that company. We've got a fully digital interior here. So we have a digital gauge, not cluster, just a screen, and that gives you pertinent information about your power of the battery. It tells you your doors open, all the typical things you expect from there. Now, of course, the monster center focus of the interior is this screen, and it's a 15.5-inch screen, which I believe is a half an inch bigger than Tesla. I wonder if they did that on purpose. It has the knob, which I've seen in Range Rovers a lot on the center console, that the knob is actually like over top of the screen. It's super weird looking. I really don't understand how it works, but it's kind of cool. So there's a very nice display here. Of course, you have your Sirius satellite radio. It has a mobile Wi-Fi hotspot built into it if you choose to use that. It also has wireless charging down here on this pad, which I picked this up earlier and thought it was interesting that there's a Mustang logo underneath the rubber pad. And you've got USB-A and USB-C underneath there on the center console. There's also a propulsion sound, so this is interesting. According to the car, it's generated to enhance the driving experience. The sound level is mode dependent, so it can be whispering, it can engage, or it can be unbridled, which is a maximum noise. I don't think that's going to do anything at idle, but let's try unbridled and see what happens. All right, the vehicle is on. Can we rev it? We can't rev it. We're not going to take this thing for a ride, but it makes noise. It makes you think that you're driving a car that's not silent, which is interesting. So we've got a couple of different camera views too. We have a 360 camera we can put up there. There's sort of a split screen where the main camera is always down here. And I'm assuming this is like a proximity sensor that's going to tell you how close or how far away you are from things. And then we have a wider view front camera, which is kind of cool. And you can turn the parking sensors on and off here. The car, of course, does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, as you would expect from something from 2021 at this point. The dashboard is relatively simplistic, but you do have, I believe, a speaker grill the entire way across here. It's got the Bang & Olufsen logo over there on the corner with a sort of a fake carbon fiber. It looks good, though. Center console has an armrest that's adjustable, leading to a pretty deep compartment underneath here with a 12-volt cigarette lighter plug. It's got an electronic e-brake. Also has a knob that is, I'm pretty sure, identical to what is in the Ford GT. The seats are very comfortable. They're all leather with white stitching. And they've got a nice design to them. They're not plain by any means. They're perforated leather on the inserts and the wings here. We have a nice panoramic view of everything above us thanks to this glass roof, and it is huge. It's going to be fun to tint. That is it for the overview of the new Mustang Mach-E. Let us know what you think of the car. I like it a lot. Check out our other video on what the rest of the shop thinks of it, at least our first impressions of it. And if you guys haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do that. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments what you think of this car. And we're always releasing stuff like this about cool cars coming into the shop and trying to get you the most up-to-date content that exists. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.